Wacky Wednesday. How are we doing, everybody? Moving the chains. We're back at it. Football's kind of coming, kind of not. We got mock draft season coming out. I cannot wait to dive into this tonight. Shedeur Sanders, where's he going? Giants, maybe Raiders. Hope not. I'll dive into that. Kirk Cousins, he's staying in Atlanta, but they can't get rid of him fast enough. It's so bizarre. But I want to start off with Shedeur Sanders, who is a polarizing guy. His dad's Deion Sanders. He was an all-pro, one of the best players on the planet, all time. We got all that. And, his son, he's got some talent. Like, he's a B-plus quarterback in a draft that really doesn't have it. I mean, Cam Ward's the top guy for me. I've said that before. I've watched most of his games this year. I remember Joe Walburn and I talking at the gym one time. If you don't get Shedeur, you can get this kid. And then right when he said that, I went, yep, I'm on this guy. Because Cam Ward's got all the juice. The arm, the grit, the toughness, maturity. A little sidearm for my take with the arm. But, man, plays backyard football. Now, can you start reining him in, play within a system? Kind of Brett Favre had that early on in Green Bay. Had to learn the West Coast offense from Mike Holmgren, who came from San Francisco with Bill Walsh and all that stuff. So can you rein that into Cam Ward? I don't know. But that's who my guy is this year in the draft. I love Cam Ward. He's my guy at quarterback. And, Shedeur, I know, is like the second guy. But, I go back to this, and I saw something today from my guy, Mel Kipa Jr., who is my doppelganger, where everybody keeps saying that I am a genius in terms of that, because I know my shit about football. It's great having you guys in today. Curls for the girls, always. Bang, bang, let's go. Feeling good. Feeling that pump tonight. But I wanted to get back to Deion Sanders and Shedeur. So, you guys know my stance. I'm out on Shedeur. To me, I know the talent is there. I know all the toughness, all that stuff. But to me, the thing that kind of jumped me the other day, I was on my walk on Sunday morning/afternoon. I was kind of walking around my neighborhood and trying to get my steps in. And, Shedeur took a lot of sacks this year and a lot of sacks last couple years. And the supporting cast was not great outside Travis Hunter and those guys. But my problem with Shedeur is he's got a long wind-up. That's the other thing. Jameis Winston kind of had some of that the long wind-up. Tannehill had some of that with the weird throwing motion. It's not everything, but it's something that could equate to it. And Shedeur, what I got told from Mark Dominic, who was a GM for the Buccaneers at the time, and the one thing I would defend Mark Dominic on is, yes, Tampa Bay was not great in his tenure. From 08, I think 09 till 13, that 4-year stretch, but he drafted really, really high-end players. Doug Martin got Vincent Jackson over. Dallas Clark was kind of on his last legs, but got him over, helped him out. Josh Freeman, we all know what that was like, kind of middle, kind of just underwhelming, weird, inconsistent, but showed flashes of moments. Mike Williams, the receiver, RIP, by the way, that great 2010 year he had with 967 and 11 touchdowns. LeGarrette Blount. The list goes on and on with guys they drafted, undrafted. Tampa Bay knows what they're doing. And he made a point the other day that Shedeur took a lot of sacks because his completion percentage didn't want to get dipped. He just wanted to fight another day. And to me, when I watch Shedeur, that's my knock on him. And listen, I applaud him for going through the mud and Andy Dufresne, like, swimming through that 500 piles of, 500 feet of shit. 500 foot, the length of 5 football fields. And so I appreciate that about Shedeur. And he also had no run game. He had to do it by himself. He had to manufacture offense. That I understand completely. But it's the off-field Shedeur I don't love. Now, and I've said this before, he does talk, not the jive shit that I banged on Cam Newton and Jameis Winston and Lamar have all in common. He talks like a normal human, okay? So I'm not trying to be weird there, but that's kind of my observation. And to me with Shedeur, I can't get behind him. I just cannot. I can't shake the throwing the teammates under the bus. I can't shake him shoving a referee in a game. I just can't. But I wanted to touch on the mock draft that I read today. Is that Shedeur Sanders goes to the Giants. Now, mock drafts, whatever, we don't know until it comes out. But it's crazy to me. My history of this is I've always gotten these right. 2019, I was right. I had Arizona going Kyler. 2 was Nick Bosa. 3 was Quentin Williams. And 4, the Raiders had that pick. I remember I was working at the time. I missed the beginning of that draft. I'm so mad I did. But it was Cleveland Farrell, and we all know how that's panned out. So in 2020, I had, I kind of got the picks right. So, I had Joe Burrow, Chase Young, and whatever. So I kind of got a good feel of this. To me, though, right now, Cam Ward, I've been told, is going number 1. That's no shock. Tennessee needs a quarterback. Mike Borgazzi just came from Kansas City. He knows the importance of that position and what it does to your football team and the city and all that stuff. And Nashville needs a juice. I got cousins there, Alex Ariola and all you guys. I love you. But they need some juice there. And they had it with Vrabel for that little blimp, and then it kind of went away. Although I do appreciate the Callahan family, Brian and Bill. My Aunt Colleen Rocky, her husband Mark, went to school with Bill, so he kind of been following his career. I have too. So I do see the Titans kind of having some momentum. They had some moments last year where I watched a couple games. I'm like, they're in games, man. Derek Solomons and I and Brody Solomon, we were talking in the car on the combine. They were in games. The Green Bay game, the Detroit game, it was tied at halftime, and then obviously the talent gap kind of expeded that in both those games, Green Bay and then Detroit. So I do think there's pieces with Tennessee I like. Their D-line's nice. They have some weapons. I was thinking about this on the way home tonight. Tony Pollard. They have some pieces I like on the perimeter. But it's a long way to go. But I think Cam Ward goes 1. My guess with 2 would be, if I had to pick my guess right now, probably Travis Hunter, or maybe Abdul Carter. I would go Abdul Carter. You pair him with Myles Garrett. Holy shit. Watch out. You can go a multitude of ways there. But the Giants, to me, taking Shedeur Sanders, please do it. Get him off my hands. I want no part of this kid. And listen, I know the relationship with Tom Brady, and he's training with them. I don't care. I want nothing, and I mean 0 to do with Shedeur. Because I don't need that drama. I don't need that bullshit, high-maintenance crap at all with the Raiders. We've gone through so much of that for the last 30 years. I've illustrated it enough. Giants, take them. Because if I'm looking at the Giants situation, because if Shedeur had his pick between the Browns and the Giants, I honestly might lean Giants just because of the pieces that they have already on the offense, with Neighbors, with Singletary, with Tyrone Tracy from Purdue. They have some pieces, Malik Neighbors. They have some pieces. I like their left tackle. There's some pieces there I like with the Giants, although I would say Cleveland is the much better, well-rounded roster to me. It's one of the top 5 in the AFC to me in terms of talent, the way that they've constructed it with Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry. And it is dysfunctional. I'm not disputing that. Every Browns fan, Isaac Milson, knows this. I went to college with him. I love you, buddy. You know it better than anybody. It's been dysfunctional, okay? Raiders and Browns have been dysfunctional for 30 years. One is in a shitty weather climate, and the other one, Oakland, was in a decent weather climate. So they're both the same. But with Cleveland, the one thing that I would push back on the Giants is they got to win now. Like, the clock is like spewing. It's going fast, fast, fast. With Cleveland, I feel like, okay, Stefanski's been coach of the year, been there, done that. They've got some momentum going. Now we just got to start this rookie clock, get it going, because the Cleveland Browns just 2 years ago, with an old Joe Flacco, were just in the playoffs. So I could see that kind of being the selling point. But I think the Giants, to me right now, they have to have some sort of relevancy in that division, because Philadelphia ain't going nowhere, the Giants aren't going nowhere, or Philadelphia and Washington's not going anywhere. So you got to compete with 2 other teams in that division that are really damn good. And I'm not even worried about the Cowboys. Let's just scratch them. So it's interesting and fascinating. And I also found the mock draft that I was reading today interesting with Mel Kiper was they had Will Campbell. I think I had a mock. I think it was Will Campbell or somebody going 10. That's pretty good. And Will Campbell is a top 10 pick for me. I've told you guys he's my favorite player, one of them in this draft. Badass, tough, gritty. It's squat 606. I mean, he was winking at the camera like he knew he could do it. Got some swagger to him when he had that LSU game against USC out in Vegas. He's like, I'm not here to party. I'm here to kick some ass. I was like, yes, I'm behind this guy. So we'll see what happens. But Shedeur going to the Giants, do it. Get him off the Raiders' hands. Let's take the best player of a player. I want McMillan from Arizona, but if I can't take him, I want Genty or do best player available like you did last year with Brock Bowers. So, last thing I want to touch on here tonight was the Kirk Cousins kind of weirdness going on in Atlanta. In Georgia? Going to Georgia? We're going to Georgia. Okay. So, I understood when the Falcons took Kirk Cousins. I understood it. They were desperate at quarterback. They were unwatchable. They were just, blech. It was awful. It was like an eyesore to watch. So I understood when they took Kirk Cousins. But Arthur Blank now can kind of look back and go, wow, I paid this guy all this money and that blew up in my face. So then you take Michael Penix and you double down, which again, I was pissed at the moment, but you guys know my draft reaction. I kind of was like, whatever. Got Brock Bowers, he's a stud. Although the wins didn't add up, but, still good, great player. But this Atlanta thing's weird because I don't know what, this is what happens when desperate people do desperate shit. And I think Atlanta was desperate, what I just mentioned, is because they had no other options. Like, what are you really going to do? Did you really want to roll out another year with that? With Kirk Cousins? And the way that he looked was awful. He looked like a guy his age, coming off the Achilles. Now, he could be valuable because maybe, the Achilles and all that, maybe he recovers, whatever. I'm out. Cut him, move on. Don't have a staring contest in the middle of training camp when you got to ask all these questions. Get rid of him. Michael Penix, it's your team now, my guy. I love you. I'm supporting you. Hell, I might get a number 9 jersey, Michael Penix. I love watching him at Washington. I love seeing him down the combine. And I love this kid's toughness, the gamer, the physicality. Not physicality, but just his throwing. The prowess he has with the left arm. It's just a slingshot of an arm. He's got that sniper-like mentality. You get him in a certain spot, he can point it right there. That Kyle Pitts touchdown against Washington this year was a thing of beauty. Could not have placed that ball any better. So, hope you guys are doing well. Wacky Wednesday. Curls for the girls. We're rocking. We're rolling. Adios. Have a great night.